So today on the Fixit Shed, I wanted to give an update on my worm bin. So it's been about 8 months. It was late October when I set up the worm bin, and it's now May 1st. And in that time, if the bin was in ideal conditions, the worms should double every 3 months. So they should be more than 400 worms in there at this point in time. So I think I've been doing all the things right. I haven't been overfeeding them, I don't think. There's bedding for them to live in. It's damp. It's not wet that you could squeeze water out of it. But I'm having trouble finding worms in there. So they're apparently still in there because the food is disappearing. But I feel like there's not very many. All right, so if I move the bin out of the way, I don't see really any worms in the catch tray in the bottom or around the wall or anything that looks like they were trying to escape. You can see there's the bottom of the bin, the catch tray. Not really any worms down there. There's maybe a couple. There's one there and one there, but not 100 of them. So they're not, doesn't look like they're running away. All right, if I bring the bin out into the light here, usually maybe I'll see one or two around the sides, but I don't see any right at the moment. So, and there's still, there's food in here. It's actually getting, it's not anaerobic yet, but it's kind of wet because some of the food is decomposing. But there's not, dig around. I can't. There's a little worm right there. And I've seen some very small ones, so they are reproducing. But I can't find like a big clump of them. I just don't have... Oh, there was one. There was a good-sized one. So, but I'm not seeing the numbers that I would expect. Okay. All right, so in an effort to kind of jumpstart this, give it a little bit of a boost, I'm going to do two things. One, I brought in some compost from one of my compost barrels that I have outside, which hopefully has some a bit more microbial activity going on, and it'll help break down the food faster. So I'm just going to mix a little bit of that in. I'm not going to put a lot. And number two, I bought some more worms. So 100 worms is really not much to start out with. It's a fairly small number for over the winter. It was colder here. They didn't grow as fast as I was hoping. So this time I bought 1,000 worms. So it was less than double the price. It was, I paid $30, I think, for the 100 worms and $55, and I got 1,000 worms. All right, so first I am just going to put some of the compost around in some of the corners, which is where I've been feeding. So that's where the food is. Yeah. All right. So hopefully they will help start breaking it down a little bit faster. And this box got a little bit beat up in shipping. Hopefully the worms are okay. All right, and just like I did the first time, I am going to open up this bag of worms. All right, and there's a lot more worms in here. And they seem to be pretty healthy and moving around. I'm going to double check, make sure there's no worms stuck in here in the bag. There's one. Right, I'm going to turn the bag inside out, make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, see, there's some worms still stuck in here. Yeah, you don't want these guys hanging out in the bag. There you go. Tell you what, these guys are a lot more active than the ones I got in October. Oh, come on. There we go. No worms left behind. There we go. Alright, is that everybody? I think that's it. Alright. Alright, and they do get dehydrated in shipping. So I am going to spray them with a little water. It says put about a half a cup of water on them. Rehydrate. Alright, I put the cardboard back on top, and I'm going to put the lid in there, on there, let them settle in. You know, hopefully, like I said, they seem to be a bit more active. Maybe it won't take them quite as long. The last ones really didn't start eating anything until about 2 or 3 weeks in. Alright, so when I first put the worms in, they were very active and didn't really settle in right away, so I did put a light over them to help encourage them to go down into the bedding and the compost that's down there. That seems to have worked. They don't really seem to be crawling up the sides of the bin anymore. I don't see any on the lid. But what I am going to do is I'm going to add some more bedding material and you know, put that in there. And I don't usually pre-soak it. What I do is I put it in and then I spray it with the mister, and that kind of makes everything damp. Yeah, so now hopefully I'll be finding worms throughout. These guys were really awake. Yeah. So there's a nice cluster of them. So they seem to go right into feeding mode. The other ones sat for a couple of weeks before they really started eating anything. Time to do some more shredding. Yeah, still pretty dry below the surface. But I'm going to let that kind of just soak through, and then I will check on it in a little bit. Alright, so hopefully this gives a good boost to my bin, and we'll start making some good compost here. So if you got something out of this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to help this channel out, please consider subscribing or becoming a member by clicking the join button below. Thanks for watching. Take care.